To understand the Israel-Palestine conflict, we must start with two places, Jerusalem and Gaza. Jerusalem is sacred to Jews, Christians, and Muslims, making it a city of deep spiritual meaning and intense dispute. Gaza, a narrow coastal strip, has a long history as a crossroads of empires and is now home to over 2 million Palestinians. Today, Jerusalem is the heart of the struggle. Each side sees it as essential to their identity. Gaza, meanwhile, symbolizes the hardship and resilience of the Palestinian people, marked by isolation and crisis. The connection to these places is not just political, it's personal, rooted in faith, memory, and family. Clashes in Jerusalem or crises in Gaza are not just about territory. They're about the soul of two peoples. The competing claims are centuries old, making every inch of ground precious and compromise difficult. Understanding Jerusalem and Gaza is the first step to grasping the conflict's complexity. These are not just places on a map, they are powerful symbols fueling emotions and actions on both sides. The land now called Israel and Palestine has been ruled by countless empires due to its strategic location. Ancient Egyptians, Assyrians, Babylonians, and others fought for control, shaping its diverse heritage. For Jews, this is the land of their ancient kingdoms, a core part of their identity. Roman rule led to the Jewish diaspora after the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 AD. Later, Arab armies brought Islam, and the local population gradually became Arabic-speaking Muslims, the roots of today's Palestinians. Crusaders, Mamluks, and then the Ottomans each left their mark, with the Ottomans ruling for 400 years. Under Ottoman rule, Jews, Christians, and Muslims lived together, though not always peacefully. In the late 1800s, Zionism emerged in Europe, calling for Jews to return and build a state in their ancestral land. Jewish migration to Ottoman Palestine set the stage for future conflict. After World War I, Britain took control of Palestine, tasked with preparing Arabs for self-rule while supporting a Jewish homeland. This dual promise created deep tensions as Jewish immigration increased, alarming Palestinian Arabs who feared losing their land and identity. Clashes and riots erupted throughout the 1920s and 30s, with both sides attacking each other. The rise of Nazism in Europe drove more Jews to seek refuge in Palestine, but British restrictions left many trapped. By World War II's end, both Jews and Arabs were fighting British rule, demanding independence. The Holocaust intensified Jewish demands for a state, while Palestinian Arabs felt they were paying for Europe's crimes. Britain, unable to resolve the conflict, handed the issue to the United Nations in 1947. The stage was set for a dramatic and violent turning point. The land was now a powder keg, ready to explode. In 1947, the UN proposed partitioning Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem as an international city. Jewish leaders accepted. Arab leaders and Palestinians rejected the plan, seeing it as unfair. Violence erupted, escalating into civil war. On May 14, 1948, Israel declared independence. The next day, neighboring Arab states invaded. The war, called the War of Independence by Israelis and the Nakba catastrophe by Palestinians, changed everything. Around 750,000 Palestinians became refugees, many never allowed to return. Israel emerged with more territory than the UN plan had allotted. The Palestinian state never materialized. Palestinians were left stateless and scattered. For Israelis, 1948 marks national rebirth. For Palestinians, it's the loss of homeland and the start of a long struggle. The refugee crisis remains at the heart of the conflict. After 1948, the West Bank and Gaza were controlled by Jordan and Egypt until the 1967 Six-Day War. Israel's victory brought the West Bank, Gaza, and other territories under its control, placing over 1 million Palestinians under occupation. Daily life changed dramatically. Military law, checkpoints, and restrictions became routine. Israel began building settlements in occupied territories, complicating hopes for a Palestinian state. By the late 1980s, frustration exploded into the First Intifada, a mass uprising marked by protests and violence. The world saw images of Palestinian youth confronting Israeli forces, highlighting the human cost of occupation. The Intifada led to peace talks, but hopes faded as violence returned with the more deadly Second Intifada in 2000. Suicide bombings and military operations deepened mistrust and trauma on both sides. The uprising showed the unsustainability of the status quo. The conflict's wounds grew deeper, making peace even harder to achieve. In the 21st century, peace remains elusive. Jerusalem's status is a core dispute. Both sides claim it as their capital. Israeli settlements in the West Bank and the fate of millions of Palestinian refugees complicate any solution. Gaza, under blockade since Hamas took control in 2007, faces a severe humanitarian crisis. Wars between Israel and Hamas have brought destruction and loss of life. The two-state solution, an independent Palestine alongside Israel, remains the most discussed idea, but decades of talks have failed. Deep mistrust, violence, and weak leadership block progress. Many have lost hope, with some considering a single state for both peoples. This conflict is about more than land. It's about identity, justice, and survival. Without a just peace, the region remains a flashpoint, affecting the world far beyond its borders.